Welcome back to the garage. This is an exciting night because this is the point where I'm finally going to start putting parts back on the car instead of taking parts off of the car. So I've got the engine all cleaned up and wiped down. It's ready to put the heads back on. The heads are here. I have to give them one final wipe to make sure that the gasket surface doesn't have any oil left on it. I've got the rocker arms here all laid out. They've been in the box since I took them off, and it's marked front and left and right, so I know they'll go back on the same way I took them off. Similarly, I've got the push rods and all the bolts organized from when I took them off the car. Because I was organized when I took the car apart, I'll be organized when I put the car back together. Everything's going to go back where it came from, and I won't be missing any parts and I won't be missing any bolts. That's really important. One important thing on these small block Fords to know is that there's a front and a back to the head gasket. The backs have these holes in them. The fronts, you can see they don't have the same holes, and they say front on them. Velcro is nice enough to mark that for us so that we know how to put these together, but not all gaskets come marked. These gaskets will go on either way. They will install backwards, and then your engine's guaranteed to overheat and cause damage, and you'll be doing actually more work than doing it right. So do it right the first time, pay attention to that, look it up if you don't have a gasket that's marked. These ones are marked, so I should get them on the right way the first time. Now I'm going to get to it. Now I know why people put aluminum heads on these. It's not because they flow better, it's because they're lighter to lift over the fender. Okay, let's get you in this car. Ah! Oh, I make a lot more sound effects since I turned 40. Come on, Pip. Come on. Come on. No, that's not it. Up. Nope, not there either. Come on. Oh. Right there. That's it. Ah, can't reach my bolts. That's got to be worth a beer right there. So the heads are on. Now it is time to set valves. So the push rods are put in, the rockers are put back on, they're all lubed up. This is the part where you have to do some adjusting, and you have to do this right. So some people really struggle with this, particularly people who don't understand the difference between top dead center on the compression stroke and exhaust stroke. You guys know who I'm talking about. I know that, so this is going to go very well. I also have a book, and I know how to read it and understand it. So if you look down here, you can see my timing pointer. So we're at number 1. I've also got a mark on there so that I can't mess up turning the crank the wrong way, so I know which way clockwise is if I'm standing over on this side of the car. If we look at number 1 cylinder, which is one we're going to adjust first, these lifters are all the way down. That means they're on the base circle of the can. That's the part that doesn't have lift, that's not lifting the valves open. That's different from these lifters here. You can see this one's open, so that valve's in an open position, and you don't want to adjust these when they're open. So this is a fairly simple process. What we do, because these are non-adjustable, we tighten this nut down until we take all the play out of the push rod, and then we torque it to 20 foot-pounds. And if it torques to 20 foot-pounds within about a half to 1 turn, hopefully around 3/4 of a turn, that means everything's good. Then we turn the crank 90 degrees and we adjust our next cylinder in our firing order. And just so I don't lose it, I got the firing order written on a piece of tape here under the hood. So let's adjust some valves. So with my finger on the push rod here, I can move this, it'll go up and down and turn quite a bit. So I want to tighten this till it just stops moving. I can still turn it there, so it's not too tight. Now this one, right? This one's moving all around. We'll tighten that down to right there. So now I want to torque this to 20 foot-pounds in less than one turn ideally. So if I start right here where this is horizontal for where I'm standing and I move it, that's a quarter of a turn, there's a half a turn, and go back and go again. See where we click. Right there, so 3/4 of a turn, that's perfect. Half plus a quarter. I'll do this one. There's half a turn, and here's, oop, I feel it. Right there, almost a turn, and you know what, I'm going to be okay with that. That's good with me. So now, we do our next one. So, luckily, on this particular engine, the crank pulley is held on with 4 bolts. So one of them is lined up right now with where my timing mark is. So if I turn this 90 degrees, then the next bolt will line up a little farther, right there, with my timing mark. So now I'm in position to do my next cylinder, which is 3. Now, on these engines, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 down here, 5, 6, 7, 8 over there. So number 3 on this engine is right here. And I can see that my lifters are all the way down in the bores, right? And if I look at my intake, I can see that they're starting to move. So I'm going to do the same thing on this. I'm going to roll it around, do this 8 more times. Well, this project's going great. The heads are on, the valves are adjusted. I got the lower intake installed as well. Still lots of parts to put on the car. I got to put the front accessories on. Got to put the distributor back in. But before that, I want to change the oil and then prime the engine with the oil pump. But it'll be back together real soon and back on the road. So look for a video real soon with first start and the first test drive with these rebuild heads.